Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name's Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast and cosplay enthusiast. And today I'm going to be turning myself into Nami from One Piece, while also just kind of giving you guys a life update, because there's been a lot going on in my life. And I'll also show you guys how I dyed this human hair wig orange. So if you guys are interested in all that, I'd love if you could stick around. Long story short, I want to create a Nami cosplay from One Piece, but I don't want to do like an exact recreation of the character. I kind of want to do like a look inspired by Nami, but also have a wig that I can wear just like out and about. So I don't really want an orange wig. I kind of want it to be a little bit more coral leaning. So I'm going to mix some pink into my hair dye and hope that it turns out sort of like that living coral Pantone color from a couple years ago. And because I'm actually filming this on August 31st, the day that the live action One Piece show comes out on Netflix, I have been watching the anime. Right now I'm like at the end of the Alabasta arc. So no spoilers. I know it's going to take me a really long time to get through the show. I wanted to create some content, hopefully in time with the show coming out, because I'm sure a lot of people will be creating content. I've tried a few different brands of human hair wigs before. I've pretty much, I think, only ordered from AliExpress. In the past, when I've ordered wigs from AliExpress, they do come pretty quickly, but I wanted it to come even quicker. Normally, I really don't care about the speed that things are shipped and that they arrive, within reason, obviously, but like I'm fairly patient. I can usually wait, up to 3 months for something to arrive. I need a pick-me-up right now. And I also wanted to time this with the release of the live-action One Piece show on Netflix, so I wanted to get this as soon as possible, and it was sort of a last-minute decision to do this cosplay. This particular wig is from Amazon, so I've never tried this brand before. We're really just like winging it today. So I ordered it from, I don't see a brand, but I'll just put it up on screen and I'll leave a link in the description box if you want to check out this wig. But they included a really nice sort of silk or satin bag that the wig comes in. And it says it's 100% human hair. All right, so that's the wig. And I think they included, oh, okay, that's cute. They included, okay, interesting. It's like 3 hair elastics looped around, and then there's a little like pearl detail thing. All right, that's cute. And then a really cute pearl barrette as well. And then they gave me 2 wig caps. This is awesome. I love these. I have like a huge collection of these. So it says here on the sticker that this is a 613 bob 16 inches straight human hair, 13 by 4. And we open it up. Ooh, this is nice. I'm pretty sure in the past I've ordered a 16-inch wig and it, oh yeah, 16 inches. And I feel like it's been shorter than that, so this actually looks pretty true to length. I don't know right now if I'm going to cut it or not. I'm kind of going to wait and see until I'm done and I put it on, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, this is actually quite long. It's virgin human hair. It stays healthy after bleach, perfect color treatment, perm treatment, longevity. So you can use it, you can dye it, all that. I'm going to leave the lace on. So again, it's a 13 by 4 lace front. There's a couple black hairs and stuff in here, but otherwise it's, 613. It's not too brassy. Because I'm going for kind of like an orangey coral color, I'm not going to bother toning it because it's not going to need it. We do have some like short hairs, like some breakage up here I'm noticing. Personally, I don't really mind. It kind of feels closer to 180 down here, but kind of like 130 towards the top. Okay, 150 density. So yeah, that feels right. The picture on the Amazon listing is like a very, very white ash blonde. This is more like a pale yellow blonde. So we have a whole bunch of clips inside. So this is what it looks like. We've got one in the front, two on either side, or like one on either side, I should say, one at the back. We got a little bit of lace at the back. We have this lace front here. We've got some shedding happening, nothing major, but I am noticing it. Again, not really the biggest deal for me, as long as the wefts are covered, which, yeah, like up top, I'm noticing, I don't know if you can see through here, I'm noticing some weftage if I move the hair a certain way. So if I'm like out and about wearing this, I probably just like brush the hair backwards like this to try and cover that. Not thrilled about that, but anyways. So I'm gonna attempt to dye this using the water method. I've watched a lot of tutorials, so I really hope that I don't mess up the lace in the process. And I guess I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a life update while I do that. And then at the end, I guess I'll show you guys the final result and maybe a little bit of cosplay, and hope that I start going back to feeling like my old self again. So I'm gonna put on some gloves, prepare the water, and we're gonna dye a wig. This was just an epic fail. So I filled up a bowl of boiling water, took my hair dye, and as you can see, it kind of just floated to the surface and sort of looked like bacteria or something. It looked real gross and it just was not dissolving. I had the L'Oreal Colorista in the shade Peach, the Iro Neon Orange shade. I also added a little bit of Arctic Fox Virgin Pink because I was really trying to get sort of a corally orange color. Obviously, as you saw from the beginning of the video and from the thumbnail, didn't turn out that way. But that was what I was going for. The colors just weren't mixing. It wasn't dissolving in the water. Like, I don't know what happened. If someone has done this successfully, let me know what you did in the comment section below. I know most people use either, I think it's Adore is the brand, or Kiss maybe. I have never been able to find those hair dyes in stores. I live in Canada, so maybe they just don't ship them here, or maybe they're just not available in my local Sally's. I first added shampoo and then I was like, wait, why am I doing this? Because the shampoo will just wash out the color. So maybe that's why it didn't work before. And then I added conditioner because I wanted to dilute the color a little bit. I wanted to pastelize it a little bit. And really I wanted to make it stretch further. I tried to mix the color. It didn't really mix. And then I applied it on the hair. I tried the water method. It kind of dyed it like a pale yellow color. And then I gave up. I just started painting it on like you normally would. That was better, but I hadn't pre-sectioned off the hair. As you might be able to see from my first attempt, the color was a little splotchy in some places. The roots didn't take the color, like they were just yellowy blondish, which is fine and makes sense, I guess, with hair. Like, you know, it's not all going to be the same color. Your roots might be a little bit lighter or darker than the rest of your hair, but I kind of wanted a more uniform color. So I tried dyeing the hair again. This time I just pre-sectioned off the hair and mixed together the Iro Neon Orange and a bit of Arctic Fox Virgin Pink and tried to dilute it with conditioner. I just skipped the L'Oreal completely because I felt like it was probably too light to show up on the hair at this point. I felt like between all of that, I'd probably get close to Nami's hair color, which I think I did pretty well, all things considered. And oh, I'll also add, the first time around, I let the color sit on the wig for about 12 hours. The second time around, I let the color sit for about 6 hours. That was literally just based on the timing that I had available. And then I washed it out both times in cold water. So a lot has been going on in my life lately. I will probably include this in the title of this video. I have a huge life update. surprise, if you don't follow me on Instagram or you don't know me in real life, I had a baby like about 2.5 months ago. Everything that you'll see on my channel and that you have been seeing on my channel for the past little bit has been pre-uploaded. I was able to edit a lot of content leading up to when I gave birth, which feels so weird to say. Like, it's been so surreal, but it's also very exhausting and a huge life change. And couples that want to have a kid to save their relationship, like, that is the worst possible thing you can do, because you have to make sure that your relationship is so solid leading up to and, after having a kid, because you need all the support you can get, and it's exhausting. It puts a strain on your relationship, and it's just really fucking hard. Here's the thing. I like sharing positive things in my life after they happen, because like as they're happening, I don't want to jinx anything.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
So I didn't share anything about my pregnancy online because I was like, really, it was my first pregnancy. Thankfully, it went really smoothly. And I didn't want to jinx anything. I didn't tell too many people also about it. Like, I don't know. I'm really bad at sharing good news. I'm really bad at sharing news in general. So it took me a while to like even tell friends. I was also working from home, so it took me a while, like a long time, to tell work also. So I was freelancing with a company. It's basically like a contract employee. I was really scared that they could let me go before I finished my contract, and then I'd be kind of shit out of luck in terms of making money before I went on maternity leave. Anyways, it turned out my boss was like super excited for me, and like really the whole team was really amazing and supportive. But you never know, especially when you're a contract employee, they can let you go at any point and then they don't have to pay you severance. Maybe I'll do a story time later, we'll see. The place that I was working at before this contract job, they were like so anal about once we had to go back to the office, because I started out in a remote position. When we had to go back into the office, like they were so anal about like any kind of like deviation from your normal schedule. And maybe that was because it was a very corporate environment, but I just kept thinking like, I don't know how I could have hid my pregnancy like before I was ready to tell people if I was still working at that place. There are a lot of doctor's appointments that you need to have when you're pregnant, so I'm glad I'm not working at that place anymore. But once I'm ready to go back to work, I don't know what my job situation is going to be like, because I was a freelance contract employee. So I just like ended my contract when I basically worked right up until my due date. And then it turned out that my baby was almost a week late. So I probably could have worked the extra week and gotten the extra money, but I didn't know that at the time. Although by the end I was very, very uncomfortable. So I was like constantly taking breaks because it was hard to sit. It like no position felt comfortable. It was rough. And like breathing was hard. My heart rate probably end of the first trimester onward, resting heart rate was somewhere between 120 and 130. And if I just like stood up, I would like skyrocket to 150, 160. So I couldn't work out either, because every time I try and work out, I'd get dizzy and lightheaded because my heart rate was so high. Turns out this is a totally normal thing that happens to, some people during pregnancy. And then my baby arrived, and then our lives completely changed. Was not sleeping very much at the beginning. It was rough, dude. So rough. Like, this is gonna sound terrible, and I don't mean it in a terrible way, but maybe some people, get complete fulfillment from doing that and are okay with doing the same thing every single day. But it's hard. It's really hard. And I love hanging out with her, and I love spending time with her, and I love just like her little expressions and the way that like my husband and I were her entire world. And it's such a like flattering feeling. And I just want to, be the best I can be for her. But at the same time, I need to take care of my mental health. And I know that for my personal fulfillment or satisfaction. Like, I need to be doing things for me as well. And maybe I'm just a selfish person, but I feel most like myself when I'm dressing up, I'm putting on makeup, I'm, doing all sorts of looks, whether they're just sort of my own looks that I put together or cosplay. And I obviously don't have the time to do that with a baby. I need to be creating to feel fulfilled and to feel like happy, I guess, and in a good place. I find putting on makeup and getting all dressed up very therapeutic. Like, it's a lot taking care of a baby, and I just need a break sometimes. That being said, like, my baby's wonderful, and I love her so much, but it's exhausting. Nothing could have prepared me properly for this. It's really hard to visualize just how your life completely changes in a way that, like, if you don't have kids, you cannot understand. Having a pet is, I'm sorry, not the same at all. For people who call themselves pet parents, I'm sorry, it's not the same. COVID, like the whole pandemic, just really messed up my plans. I wanted to travel a lot more before having kids, and then I ended up losing my job. I actually lost 2 jobs during the pandemic, and obviously we couldn't travel anywhere, so it's been a huge adjustment. And then the apartment that we were living in when my husband and I got married, we were living in a basement apartment, and whatever, long story short, we didn't feel safe there. So then we moved in with my in-laws for a year, and then that was a bit of an adjustment. We ended up getting this place, which we're now kind of outgrowing because now we have a baby, and babies take up a lot of space. So it's just been stressful kind of thinking of that. So this room that I'm currently in is the second bedroom, which I was using as my studio space, and then my husband, who's been working from home, is now using it as his office, but it'll turn into our baby's bedroom when she's a little bit older. I'm not going to have anywhere to film, so I might end up moving my filming stuff into our bedroom. I'm still trying to figure that out and getting kind of stressed about, the future of my channel because I don't get paid at all. Occasionally, brands will send me some free things or like a coupon, discount code, affiliate code, whatever. Or like, ambassador or blah, blah, blah bullshit. You get a special discount because you're one of our ambassadors or whatever. I'd love to be a part-time social media content creator. I'm realizing as I get older that seems less and less likely. You seem to have to fit a certain mold, and I don't really fit into one niche, and I don't want to fit into one niche, but it seems like you kind of have to do that in order to get a following, maybe just because people sort of know you as you're the girl who does blah, 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 and they know that they can come back and expect blah, blah, blah. But I like to do a lot of things, so I sort of use my channel and my other social media platforms as well to just sort of have fun and, I don't know, get dressed up and put on makeup and whatever. And maybe people just aren't interested in all of those different things, or I'm not good enough maybe in those areas because I'm sort of, jack of all trades, master of none. And the way that these platforms are changing their algorithms, so it's harder and harder to get seen unless you pay for ads, which is, how they're making money, and that's kind of what they're prioritizing. So between all of that, between, maybe not having the best content, maybe having content that's too varied, and not paying for ads, my content doesn't get seen. I like what I'm doing. I'm still going to do it because I have fun doing it, but it's a lot more encouraging when you get feedback from people. Lack of views or interactions affects my mental health and self-esteem because it's like, there's always someone better out there. You're always comparing yourself to someone else on social media. But I'm trying to build a community of people who are interested in the same things as me, and it's just really hard to do that. Like, I was talking to someone recently, like an internet friend. She was saying how social media isn't social anymore. It's really just about ads and sponsored content, but it's not about connecting with other people as these platforms were initially built to do. And I feel like we've lost that communal aspect. And I wish there would be another social media platform that prioritizes those groups, those connections with people over ads. I know, they have to make money somehow, but it's so transparent, especially on Instagram with all the sponsored content, like the fucking Temu sponsorships and Shein and Ramwi. It's so exhausting. Like my whole feed is just full of ads and sponsored content, and it's not fun anymore. Like I'm still gonna do what I do and have fun with it, but like looking at content isn't fun anymore. I've been struggling a lot with that, and then I've been struggling with body image because when you are pregnant, you gain a lot of weight, and then you keep that weight after you have the baby. You lose about 15 pounds or so in baby, like the baby's weight, water weight, so the baby is like floating in amniotic fluid. The amount of blood that's in your body also increases because you're supporting 2 people or more than that if you have twins or triplets or whatever. So it's a lot of like extra stuff. I happen to retain a lot of fluid when I was pregnant, so you'll see in some of my videos my face looks a lot rounder, and that's probably because I filmed it in the later part of my pregnancy where I got really, really round in the face. And so I lost the kind of like water weight, but so my face does look a lot slimmer now, but I still have extra weight that I'm really, really not happy about, and I'm like trying to lose it in a healthy way. Like I want to just go back to the weight that I was before. I lost basically all of my muscle tone, so I really want to gain that back, but I also want to lose weight, and I want to just like fit into my old clothes. So like not being able to dress up in my old clothes kind of is affecting my body image and self-esteem and all that, because I like getting dressed up. It makes me feel good about myself, picking out an outfit and styling it, and the makeup and the wig and everything. I just like dressing up. If you've been on my channel, you'll know that. Right now, not feeling great about myself. And since I'm not dyeing my hair, at the very least, I can dye a wig to maybe brighten my mood a little bit, make me feel a little bit more myself. What else can I talk about? Oh, right. The economy sucks. And I feel like we kind of chose to have a kid at one of the worst times, like economically, financially. I'm not getting any younger. I'm 31, which is not old, but I wanted to start having kids like, I guess around age 30. I was told when I was younger that like I might have issues getting pregnant. Turned out, thankfully, it was not. Like basically I went off the birth control pill, and then like 3 months later I got pregnant, which I'm very, very grateful for, because I know it's not easy for a lot of people. This was completely planned and everything. I guess the pandemic sort of shifted, I don't know, like my life plans and everything. So I had plans in 2020 to go to Poland on, not a happy trip, like to do like sort of a Holocaust tour, to tour the camps and everything. This, again, sounds terrible. I was really looking forward to it because it's something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, like a very sort of meaningful, emotional but meaningful trip. And then that was canceled. I basically kind of like gave up on that trip, and then I wanted to do more traveling before having a baby. Like I really want to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan for like a good like month. Like I've always wanted to go to Japan. I love Japanese history, culture. I studied the language for 3 years. After graduating university, I had the opportunity to go to Japan for a year to teach English. And I didn't because the program that I was going to do it with, they basically send you to remote areas because that's where they need English teachers. And I am a religious Jew. I know I don't look like it, but I am. So, and I keep like our Sabbath, I keep the laws of kosher. It's a little bit challenging in a place like Japan where there really aren't Jews. So finding kosher food is not impossible, but difficult. I'd have to miss some days for religious holidays and like having to explain that. They're not really familiar with religions and cultures that have those types of holidays. So like you can't do work on those days. Wouldn't be impossible, but it would be like challenging, and I would want to immerse myself in Japanese culture, and it would just kind of be like a little like awkward or uncomfortable. So I reached out to a Jewish resource in, I think, Tokyo, asked them like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this thing. I don't know what part of the country I'd be in, but how difficult is it to keep kosher in Japan? And the response I got was basically, come and we'll figure it out. And I'm like, I can't just like commit to living in a different country for a year if I don't know if I'll be able to eat any food. In hindsight, I probably should have just gone for it and figured it out, but I was 22 and fairly sheltered and hadn't lived on my own. It would have been an amazing experience, and it's honestly like one of my biggest regrets. I don't know, I was just like scared to do a lot of things on my own. I feel like it would have been good for me to get out of my shell if I had done that. So I'm not saying that my life is over now that I have a kid, but it's obviously a lot more difficult to travel and do all that kind of stuff. And like, I don't know, life is too short. I want to see the world. I want to explore, but also like I need to figure out like, do I bring my kid with me, or do we leave her with a babysitter for like a month? Neither option is great. Yeah, there's just so many things that I want to do, and I don't want to wait until I'm retired, if I can ever retire in this economy. I don't know, it's just finding time for things is hard and stressful and makes me anxious to think about, but that has just been weighing heavily on me for a really long time. And I know I'm not the only one who, their life plans kind of got derailed from the pandemic, but I don't know, it was just, there was so much. I was like just getting to a point where I was like feeling good about my life and my choices, and okay, we're gonna make all these travel plans, and then boom, the pandemic happened. And again, these are all things that I chose to have a baby, but it's still frustrating. Oh, and another thing, so during the pandemic as well, my husband and I were looking at trying to buy a house. We were working with this one agent. He was sort of doing us a favor because he was sort of a family friend of my husband's. He showed us a couple places, but he could tell that our budget wasn't super high, so he kind of like ghosted us. What was available in our price range at the time, and that was like stretching, were kind of like fixer-upper townhouses. There were issues with all of them, like significant issues that we couldn't afford to fix. Then we ended up going with a different agent, actually a pair of agents. The one who was sort of like the main agent also sort of could tell that we weren't, our budget wasn't super high. And so her partner was showing us, she was a bit more junior. She was showing us most of the places, but then it was still going through the main agent. And then we actually put in an offer on a couple places. That's the point when the real estate market, it was already really competitive, and it was starting to get more and more competitive. We put in an offer on a place that we didn't love. It wasn't in the location that we wanted, but we were like, okay, fine, let's try, because it was a nice sized townhouse. So we put in an offer, which was already stretching ourselves financially. The main agent suggested that we go higher. I said we can't. And then she basically was trying to not manipulate me, but trying to get me to go higher, and was saying oh, well, what if you borrow $10,000 from your parents just to go $10,000 higher? And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. It's rude of you to assume that my parents just have an extra 10 grand lying around that they'll just give to us. No. And I said already that this is our maximum amount that we can go. We cannot afford to go higher. And then she was saying oh, well, if you take out a loan or this or that. And I'm like, no, this is the number. This is as much as we can afford to spend. And I was just so angry. Like, I started crying. I just handed off the phone to my husband, and then he literally said the exact same thing that I said. And she was like, okay. I'm like, wait, so why are you listening to him but not to me when I said the exact same thing? And it was just like a horrible experience. Anyways, we ended up not finding anything. We looked at this one place that was like a real fixer-upper. There was like some clear water damage. I didn't even want to think what was in the pipes and stuff. It was in really bad shape. And like the amount that they were asking, if this is what's on the market, like, and that's what we can afford, I don't know. It was really bad. So we ended up renting instead. Now the real estate and rental market is so high and so out of control that people can't afford to get into the market unless they get financial help. Even people who bought and stuff are struggling, and rent prices are ridiculous, so we can't even afford to move into a bigger place. It's really hard, and we don't want to leave the city because, like, after sort of my postpartum experience, which is still ongoing, I wouldn't want to, like, if we do decide to have another kid, and even like, you know, having our baby now, like, if we moved somewhere else, I don't think I could handle not having that family support network to help us out. I don't know, like, our whole life and community and everything is here. Everyone should be able to afford like a place to live. It's insane. And the fact that some people have second or third or fourth houses is honestly disgusting. Like, I'm really not a eat the rich type person, but I'm kind of feeling eat the rich these days. I wanted to move into a house before having a baby. I wanted to move into a place with a washer dryer before having a baby. I wanted to move into a place that had at least 3 bedrooms before having a baby. And then here we are, and plans change. I'm doing better now than I was before, but it's still hard. So I'm glad that I have some time to record this, because it's been nice just to get dressed up. All right, so here is the final look. I had to blow dry the hair to make sure that it was fully dry. And then once it was like, I don't know, maybe like 80 to 90% dry, then I used the Revlon, I'm not sure what they call it. It's like a heat styling brush. It's like sort of it gives you like blowout type effects. So I just use that to sort of add a little bit more shape to the hair. This hair was clearly processed and bleached, probably from fairly dark hair based on the amount of like damage and brittleness that I can feel in the hair. I added the Revlon all-in-one hair treatment. I'll leave a link in the description box. It's a really cheap, really good sort of multi-use hair treatment product, and it smells really nice as well. So I used a bit of that, and then I used a bit of this like L'Oreal hair oil stuff. I'll try and leave a link for that in the description box as well, because again, the first time I dried the hair, it sort of got like very puffy, frizzy, and like my hair used to do that a lot as well when I was bleaching and dyeing it. I think it's just a result of the damage. Like, the hair sort of loses all shape and texture that it naturally has. It's in rough shape. And I've seen this a lot when I've watched a lot of tutorials from people dyeing human hair wigs, that once they blow dry it, it sort of doesn't look amazing. You kind of need to style it. So I didn't want to put too much heat on the hair because I didn't want to fade the color. I think those made a difference in the way that the hair looks as well as how it feels. Like, it's a little bit smoother. It looks a little bit nicer. My hair looks like it's done, you know? And then because Nami doesn't really do like a whole lot with her hair looks kind of like straight with maybe a little bit of a wave. I didn't really feel like I needed to style the hair too much. I probably could have cut short layers, but as you can see, there is actually a bit of breakage that happened in the hair, or they use some shorter hairs and some longer hairs, especially like up on top. There's like some strays. So if I wanted to, I could probably go in and cut some more layers, but I don't want it to look too costumey. I think this turned out super cute. Was it what I planned? Absolutely not. It reminds me of how my hair looked when I dyed it orange. I think this turned out cute. I would definitely wear this wig out, like just to, you know, if I feel like having colorful hair or something. I can't stop looking at myself. Like, I miss having colorful hair, and I mean, this wig is definitely a lot denser than my natural hair, but it looks like my hair. On days where I'm feeling like very bland and I really miss my colorful hair, honestly, I'd wear this to like the grocery store. I just love it. I think it's so cute. I'm personally lazy like 99% of the time, so I don't usually bother with gluing down my lace. Like, I prefer wearing lace fronts because I think they look a lot more natural. I really don't like the look of a hard front wig unless it has bangs, but even then, like, I feel like it just, that style doesn't always work for my face shape. So I prefer lace fronts. Because it's a 13x4, you do get a lot of lace and it goes all the way like down the side somewhere. I think I tucked it in actually by accident. But anyways, you can install it like, you know, it's, the lace goes down to like about here or so on either side. And then you got the lace at the back if you want to secure that down, I guess, as well. What else? The lace itself is really light, so it matches my skin tone perfectly, or almost perfectly. And maybe it's just the way that the hair was sewn into the lace, but it's got like sort of a wider parting, so it looks a little bit more like a real part, whereas I feel like some of them, it's so dense that it just kind of looks a little fake. This, I think, looks really real, and for the price, like, I don't want to gatekeep because, like, this is an amazing wig and I just want to, you know, kind of share my knowledge, but it's almost criminal how cheap this wig was. So the wig itself was $115.90 Canadian for a 16-inch 613 bob. Like, you know, I haven't cut the wig at all. For some reason it is shorter in the back, longer in the front. Really not a big fan of that style. I feel like it's like 16 inches here, maybe like 14 inches in the back, which is honestly not that big a deal. I'm not sure if I'm going to trim it or not because I feel like it looks realistic like this, but I also really like kind of a blunt bob, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, for a 13x4 150% density 613 wig that's 16 inches, like, I feel like $115 is a really good price. It might actually be a better price than what I've seen on AliExpress. I think this is really good, especially for the price. Now, I don't wear wigs every day, so I don't know about like longevity or all that. The hair did shed a little bit, nothing overly concerning, but especially when I was brushing it out the first couple times, I did notice some hair shedding, but it took the color really well. Although I will say Arctic Fox really does not work with the water dyeing method. Iro, I think it did work, although it was really, really pastel, so it kind of dyed the wig more of a yellow than an orange. It is showing up darker on camera than it is in person. In person, it's definitely like a fiery orange, and I feel like, yeah, okay, on this side it's sort of, with the natural light coming in, it's sort of looking a little bit more true to color. It's not actually this dark. So that is my current life update / me getting into my Nami cosplay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment below what kind of content you'd like to see on my channel. I'm gonna probably have to slow down my video production and output just because taking care of a baby is a lot of work. So I will post as much as I can. More likely than not, if I do get time to create content, it'll probably be shorter reels and TikToks and then just pictures on Instagram. So I always leave links in the description box below for all of my socials. Oh, and I'm also on Threads, same handle as my Instagram. So you can check that out. Probably much more active on Instagram and TikTok compared to YouTube these days. So I will pre-upload everything that I have kind of edited already, but yeah, my output will be a lot slower, unfortunately, at least for the next little bit. Bear with me, and just your support is greatly appreciated. For all of you who stick around and continue to watch my videos, it definitely means a lot. I'd love to do more cosplay content because I actually really have a lot of fun doing it, but it's really time consuming and it's not something that I'm like amazing at. I don't know, I feel like I just kind of did my normal makeup with orange eyebrows, but I had a lot of fun. So that's kind of really what matters. And I feel a lot more like myself right now, especially in this orange wig. And I will post when I can, so please turn on notifications so that way you'll get updated every time I post a new video. And I'll see you guys next time.